Younger Brian was sick of letting life take him where it wanted, so he finally decided to take control. So he read an article about freelancing and decided to give it a go. After a while of doing that, he saw a video about starting to be a YouTuber, and he always wanted to be one, so he stopped doing freelancing and decided to do YouTube instead. But after a few months, he decided that YouTube was actually hard work, and he saw that Eman Gadji had loads of success with SMMA. So he decided to stop working on his YouTube channel and was convinced he would start a social media marketing agency. Before getting bored again and realizing that it wasn't as easy as it looked. Brian had no clarity of his own, no vision to stick to. He just consumed and consumed and consumed, and what he consumed controlled him. And because of this, he was on autopilot pretty much all day. The main reason you have no control over your life is because you lack clarity. Clarity over your purpose, clarity over what you want to do. There's a ton of ideas constantly jumping around in your brain, and it's just chaotic and you don't know what to stick to. And it just feels like life is taking you where it wants to go, not where you want to go. I actually had this recently with this channel. I'd always wanted, since I remember, to start a self-improvement YouTube channel. But since my first channel has 100,000 subscribers and it's all about game development, I thought it would be better to start a self-development channel for game developers. So that's exactly what I did. But after a while, I just felt that I wasn't quite doing what I wanted to do and I wasn't being authentic in the videos. But I've recently regained my clarity and I finally feel like I'm on the right path again. On a path that I actually want to be on. And I want to help you do the same thing today. So, step 1. Stop consuming everything for about 1 or 2 days. Yes, even the helpful stuff. Whilst the helpful stuff is actually helping you, it's also pulling you in 20 different directions. And because there are so many YouTubers out there that have good ideas and make some good points, after a while, it's hard to distinguish between your own thoughts and the thoughts of the YouTubers you watch. You'll see, when you stop consuming, something magical will happen to you. It won't take too long before all of those thoughts go away and it's just you again. And if you're like me and you like a little bit of YouTube every now and again, then you will immediately feel really refreshed and your mind will suddenly be at ease again. So, with your newfound clarity, the second thing you need to do is figure out your path. You need to figure out what you want, not what the YouTubers want. What has your conscience always been drawn to? For me, I've always come back to self-development. The first channel I started, the one that is now the entertainment game development channel, actually started as a self-development channel. After my first channel took off, I actually started another channel that's also self-development, but I've since privated all the videos on that one. I was always drawn to making these types of videos, but the reason it took me until now to properly start making them is because of the beliefs I had around it. I thought because there was so many of this type of channel out there that I couldn't possibly stand out. But I don't know if it's fate, I don't know if it's luck. 5 videos later, one of the videos gets me 30,000 views. So be careful, because you might be avoiding the business that you actually want to do because of some negative belief you have about it. I'm sure if you really ask yourself this in your head and you think about it for a second, you will know the answer. So after you find out what it is that you actually want to do, you need to figure out all of the negative beliefs you have that are stopping you from doing it. And then you need to audit them, figure out why you actually have those beliefs, because they might not be true. Yes, self-development has a lot of people making videos, but if you make a better video and you give better advice in a better way than other people, you will still be more successful. Think about it. What is the alternative? If you don't do the business model that you want to do now, no matter how successful you get in anything else, there will always be something in your mind just bugging you about it. And sooner or later, you're going to want to start it again. So save yourself the grief, save yourself the time and the pain, and just do it now. The next thing you have to do after you've chosen this path is stick to it, because you will get shiny object syndrome. That's why it's so important to do the actual thing that you were always drawn to, because every 3 or 4 months a new business model comes out that is all the rage and everyone wants to do it. And if you're not doing what you actually want to do, you're going to want to switch to it. And remember, if you ever do get this shiny object syndrome, every business model is hard. Every business model has its challenges, and you're not going to see those challenges until you're 1 month in, 2 months in, and you realize that you've just wasted all that time that you could have put into the other business. The business that you actually wanted to do in the first place. Also, if a business model is currently blowing up, it's probably not a good time to start doing it. I mean, take the current example. Right now, becoming a growth operator is all the rage. And since one of my videos on how to make 10K a month started doing well, I've literally been getting about 10 messages a day from different growth operators trying to start their business. The competition for growth operators right now is crazy. And I'm not trying to discourage you from being one, by the way. If you really do like the business model, stick with it. I always say that online business is a process of elimination. And every time you feel like quitting, half of your competition just quit. And that's exactly what's going to happen with growth operators. It's no different. In about 3 months, there's going to be a new business model that's all the rage, and all of those people are going to move on. And that's when you won't quit. And that's when you will become a successful growth operator and you will get your first client. So don't give up on it if it's actually what you want to do because of what I just said. The next thing you must do is start taking your fitness seriously. It's a basic requirement. If you go to the gym, it's basically like drinking a potion that's a 30% buff to your energy, to your confidence, to your productivity. Every one of those things goes up if you take care of your fitness. And it's quite funny actually. I feel like every time my fitness is sorted out, everything else takes care of itself. But every time I start slacking, eating something bad, or skipping the gym, everything else goes to shambles. And gym was actually the catalyst to all of my later success as well. When I was really overweight, eating junk, playing games all day, the first thing I did to change myself is lose all of that weight and become a new person. And even though I had been trying to make money online for the past 3 years when I was unhealthy, the first time I actually made any money was after I'd already lost the weight and sorted out my fitness. Now that you've picked your path, there's probably a lot of new skills that you have to learn and a lot of new traits that you have to develop. And it's easy to get overwhelmed by that. When I started this channel, I wrote down quite a few different traits and skills that I needed to learn and get better at. And that felt quite overwhelming to me for a while. It's impossible to learn 10 things at once. So to avoid that, focus on only one thing at a time. My current focus is actually focus. Being able to work better without getting distracted. So I've been rereading Deep Work, power leveling that stat, and it's been working out well so far. If you're a gamer like I used to be, it's good to look at it from this perspective. You're not going to try to level up 10 stats at once, are you? You're going to power level one stat, get really good at that, get it to the target that you want, then you're going to level the next stat, and then you're going to move on, and so on. To figure out what it is that you should be focusing on, it helps to do something called constraint journaling. So figure out which one of those skills or which one of those traits is stopping you from getting where you want to be the most, and focus on that one. Simplifying it in this way makes it feel a lot less overwhelming. Having this singular focus is so good for your mental health. Having this clarity in your mind is peaceful, it's productive, and it makes life feel a lot more meaningful. Sadly, most of the population just doesn't have this clarity anymore. I mean, just think of the average person now. They go to their 9 to 5, do what their boss tells them to do, go home on the train without even realizing they're on the train because they're on their phone the entire time, and then they get home and probably scroll TikTok for a couple hours. And their mind is so unclear that they're not even there, they're not even living their life. And it's scary because those people, they don't even know what they don't know. Some of them will blink and 10 years would have gone by. But thankfully, you and I aren't like that. It's almost weird to me thinking about that type of person. Like after a while, you get so far removed from it that it doesn't even seem real, but that's most people's lives nowadays. And even if you don't have the success that you want to have yet, know that you've already won because you've removed yourself from all of those people now. So even if you're going through something rough right now, or you feel the pain of not being where you want to be, you're actually on the right trajectory. But we need to be careful. I sometimes slip up and start consuming, and before I know it, my mind is gone. And a couple of days later, I realize I come back into myself and realize that I'm actually alive again. So be aware that you can slip up, so you need to check yourself and make sure that you're sticking on the path that you want, because that is the only thing that will get you to your goals. Getting all the money you want, time freedom, financial freedom. If you have clarity in your goals and keep pursuing them, you will get there quite soon, and it will come sooner than you think. It took me 3 years to achieve all of the goals I set for myself back then. So get the clarity, create your own path and stick to it. Don't fall for the latest new business model unless it's what you actually truly want to do. Keep watching these advice videos, but make sure that they align with the path that you chose. Because if you keep being you and doing what your purpose calls you to do, you're never going to feel all of those negative emotions and have this really clouded mind that comes with getting pulled in all of these different directions. Keep grinding, my friend. One day, quite soon, you will get there.